everybody. I'm here reporting live from Washington, D.C. This is Naja Hall from Naja News. I wanted to come on and talk about what we've seen so far happen in the Romeca Meeks case. Now, we know that Holly was denied bail. I did not think that she was going to be denied bail. And of course, everything that I say is, and any of us that are speculating on the internet, it's clearly speculation because we're not in the courtroom. We're not in the judge's head. But Holly was denied bail at that hearing yesterday. Now, she and her attorneys did ask for some sort of grace from the judge because Holly is 7 weeks pregnant. That's a zinger that none of us really expected. Romeca has officially been gone since September. This is December, so September, October, November, December. That's a very short amount of time. Now, we only know it takes a few seconds to get pregnant, but this just shows me that nobody thought that a prosecution was going to happen. As I talked about a while back, we know that she was strongly being looked at for indictment, and now we've seen that the indictment and prosecution has actually happened. Now, it's been said that Holly and her family started a GoFundMe, so I've not looked into that just yet. If anybody has a link to share below, please share it so I can take a look at it. But, so it does not look like these people were moving in such a way where they had fear or they thought that they would even have to answer for what happened on that fateful September 8th day. So Holly Quadajah Johnson was denied bail. She will not be able to get another chance to speak to the judge to plead her case until December 23rd, when that's the next hearing date. So she's going to sit in jail. Some would argue that she's probably safer in jail than she was out on the street, but nothing has reportedly happened. Any type of acts of aggression, nothing that we've seen have happened as far as attacks on she or Carlos since then. So it sounded like to me that she was pretty safe. Holly claims that she and Romeca had never met face-to-face before the shooting. This was speculation, but this is Holly's claim. Now, again, if you believe that she says, and that means you probably are going to believe some other things that she says, right? We can't really pick and choose what we want to believe. And that's what happens when we speculate and feel emotional. If you're going to believe her about that thing, then be ready to believe her about other things. But we all know that people tell particular truths depending on what best suits them. And it best suits her to not be locked up, which she's going to stay there. That July restraining order was never officially served to Romeca. Maybe Romeca knew about it. Maybe Carlos had sent her a text about it. But officially, on the record, she was never served with that restraining order. So multiple witness statements were read in court from a bunch of different witnesses. And a lot of them we've heard from here on YouTube. For example, there was a two Hispanic couple. The two of them, their testimonies were read in court by the prosecution's case. Now, when I saw that, and considering that there have already been holes that have been poked in those two people's story, they went around on almost like an interview circuit talking about what they saw that day. But I thought it was pretty alarming that, you're supposed to vet witnesses for their accuracy, honesty, and validity, especially if you're submitting it to the court. It's one thing when us YouTubers do it, or even some people that are reporting from the press, but you are saying this, presenting this as actual factual evidence in a court of law. So I don't know, those stories from a few people that were read by the prosecution, there's already holes that have been poked in their stories just by people online. So I imagine that the defense is going to eat that up. And once you create a doubt, like we talked about in my last video, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that what you say happened. And y'all, I see it's like, is this an intentional sabotage of a first-degree murder actually making this stick? I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna think some more about that. The disputes, like the defense definitely disputes several of those witnesses' claims. The prosecution is seeming to rely on a lot of witness interviews. We've not seen any of the overhead cam footage. There has been footage from the bus that's been released. There are reports that say that Carlos was fighting her, not only trying to restrain her, but actually fighting her, pushing her in the car door. And we do know that he was trying to get her back in the car. And depending on what angle you saw that from, it could look like an act of aggression, like he and Holly were jumping her, or it could have looked like he's like, you need to leave the scene. Carlos did speak with the local news last night. And was it smart for him to do that? I don't even think it really mattered.
When I heard it, I'm just looking, it was unbelievable, but I was there. And I know for a fact none of that happened, how they just explained it. But my truth will get out here, and I hope everybody understand. That's really it. I can't even say too much right now, because it's just gonna feel like I'm going against them, they going against me. We just going back and forth. But the truth is going to come out.
I've not seen him speak this way about this case at all. But in the interview, honestly, Carlos, he didn't really say much of anything. He didn't necessarily hurt the case. He didn't help the case. He was speaking in a very, very roundabout way. But as I said before, the coast isn't clear for anybody. It's not clear for him. Will he be charged right alongside Holly as an accessory? We've said this a while ago. Everywhere in my YouTube comments and every other comment section, people want to see Holly and Carlos as a collective go down for this murder, for taking Romeca's life. They don't just want to see Holly do it. They want him too. And it seems like the public pressure has not only gotten to the prosecutor's office, DA's office, it's probably even gotten to the judge. The judge said some very choice things to Holly, and the judge does not seem to, definitely the judge is not showing favoritism. If anything, he's leaning towards the side of the prosecutor and feels almost angered that this crime happened the way it did. So the community is still very much divided. People just are not knowing what to think, but public opinion is leaning toward people wanting to see Holly go down for first-degree murder. We talked about the obligation of the state to prove an actual land and make a first-degree murder conviction stick. I still don't think that we have that. We've not heard all of the evidence yet. If I'm thinking like a defense attorney, what the defense is going to have to do, number one, is poke holes in everything that the prosecution presents. Remember, it's the prosecution's burden because they're the one they brought the charges against Holly. It's their burden to prove that she committed this act in a premeditated way. She was callous in taking Romeca's life. These girls did not like each other. But if you have a handgun and the other person does not have a handgun, at what point do you say, I'm going to pull it out to take a life? This is where Holly should have got back in that car, and shoulda, woulda, coulda doesn't matter now. We're all playing Monday morning quarterback. Got back in that car and left. If this was a quarrel between co-parents and she's like, my first instinct is to protect my baby that's in this car. Even if Romeca was charging at her car and threatening her child, if you're in the car, quickly hop in that driver's seat and go. Again, Monday morning quarterback. None of us could say what we would do in that situation. I would like to think that I would run. If there was a threat against me and my kid and a man is fighting with his other baby mama, let me say my baby first. Just that instinct would kick in. Holly, I'm not speaking for her. It appears that she and Romeca had a lot of innate hatred for one another. I think the prosecution is really going to play on this. They're going to play on the fact that these women didn't like each other. And this could have been Holly's golden opportunity to finally exact revenge and shut Romeca up. And make it look like she was okay in doing so. She's like, hey, I have I got a concealed carry license. We found out who the person that actually taught her the class to issue the license is. When you sit in these classes, they literally teach you. They don't teach you anger management. But they do teach you when to draw your weapon, when to hold your weapon. They teach you local state laws. In some states, if somebody's breaking in your house, you know for a fact someone is breaking into your house and coming to evade your space and harm you and your family. You cannot shoot them. You can't fire your weapon until they step foot in the threshold in your door. You can't do that. Or guess what? If you do that, you're going to jail. You're the one that's probably going to end up with a charge. Doesn't matter if you're trying to save your family's life or not. So in these classes, they teach us handgun safety. But the human ego, Holly's ego is at play. And that is what the prosecution is going to rest their entire case on, is this air of dissension and deceit, lies, harassment, stalking, pure hatred, jealousy, anger, the delicate nature of these relationships, the fact that Carlos could have been going back and forth and triangulating these women against each other. They want Holly to go down for this. And it looks like a good, clean case. I cannot figure out, and we're going to, hopefully we bring a prosecuting attorney on there just to, what's the science behind you guys aiming so high for this charge that's going to be tough to stick? Is Holly, is she going to go to court? Is she going to say, you know what, I'm going to plead to a lesser charge. I'm going to make a deal. It's been speculated that Holly has found one of the top attorneys in Chicago to represent her in this case. So she has a fireball that would be representing her. I don't know if they're going to make a plea to allow her to just maybe serve some time. But I think in order to make everybody happy, if that's even the right word for this, is people want to see this girl serve some time because a life was taken unnecessarily. Shots were fired at a relentless rate. There were so many things that could have happened in that moment, which is why the average civilian does not need a handgun. Most people's with their own everyday mental illness, anger, outside influences. We're scrolling TikTok all day. We're seeing all thing we're in GTA. Isn't that what the game is called? But this actual is human life, and this chunk of metal that's in your hand holds the power of life and death. And that day, she was irresponsible with this massive responsibility that she was handed over by the state, licensed to carry this thing. Unless they poke holes and show that, as Holly claims, Romeca and the people that represented Romeca, that had Romeca's back, were harassing her, stalking her. I see that she said that they're going to pull a lot of that out. Those are going to be the main things that will be used to show that she actually lived in a state of fear. I'm thinking that's going to be the claim. Hey, I was constantly afraid. If she had ever talked to a therapist, then we're going to see her mental health records pulled. If she was suffering from PTSD from all of this, like if she created the paper trail, like Miss Blackman's family say she did, in order to take Romeca's life, then yes, she absolutely, you go to therapy. If you do feel PTSD and someone is stalking you, harassing you, and you're afraid, this is one of the things that you're going to do. So they pulled Romeca's medical records when they did the autopsy. They did all of that stuff. So I'm pretty sure they have Holly's ready on deck, ready to go. If she has all these things, her defense will be able to prove that she probably was in fear, and they might be able to get her a plea. Again, I'm all saying might. None of us were there. I wasn't there. You weren't there. We don't know. We're all watching this in real time. I was surprised by one thing. It looks like Romeca's family has had custody of Carlos Jr. since the day of the incident.
Is doing great. He has always been doing great. He has a strong mother. He has a strong grandmother. He has strong aunties. He has strong uncles. He has a village. Carlos may be hurt for the rest of his life, but we make sure he see rainbows in his clouds. Okay? Nothing will ever change about that. There is nothing he needs that we cannot provide. He is perfectly well. He is happy. He is thriving. And even when he feels his lowest, we pull him out of it together like we do with each other. He is a superstar like his mom, and he's going to show her better than he can tell her.
I was looking at his Facebook and the pictures that were being posted. I assumed that they were real-time pictures, but I don't think Carlos has really seen that baby since the day of the incident, except for at the wake, the memorial. We know Carlos did walk to pay his last respects. There was no incident between him and Miss Blackman's family. He came in and he was escorted out, obviously. We've not seen the end of the indictments for this case, I don't think. I wanted to come on and give my 2 cents. Again, this is a developing story. We are learning new details every single day. So tell me what you all think. What do you think do you think Holly's going to ask for a plea? Do you think this thing will be pled down, or will the prosecution even accept it? Are they going to say, we absolutely do not want to negotiate with you. We want you for first-degree murder. Or do they just want to see this thing in the books, closed up, throw her some time, let that baby be born in jail, and maybe let her get off on good behavior in a few years? What do you think? Do you think she's going to do a day in jail? Do you think first-degree murder is going to stick, or are they going to meet somewhere in the middle? I'm Naja News, and again, remember, this is a developing story, so we're learning details every minute, every second. So whether you're interested in this case from a legal perspective, a moral perspective, or somewhere in between, I'm really interested to know what you think is going to happen next. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's in the comments, sharing links, updating on information, keeping all of us updated. Again, I'm not in the courtroom, but I try to stay as dialed in. But just like I'm making this video right now, something could change 20 minutes after I post it. So thank you all so much that are exercising patience and grace with me as I'm trying to put all of this together to make sure that you get updated and responsible feedback. I'll see y'all in the comments, and I got to get to the airport.